Dead Gamer here. This is a video response to Vince Venturella's topic of the week. Adepticon Reveals. Sorry, I was pulling off my notes on it so I can do this properly. Um, Vince is asking the community what they thought about the Adepticon Reveals, what they thought about the Deepkin in particular, and what they thought about the other releases. And it's kind of funny because I did a video already about the Warhammer Legends, but I'm going to answer these questions kind of as they go. So, what were my thoughts about the Deepkin? I mean, I like them. I too am in the same place where Vince is, where I'm not going to buy them. I don't really have, and I guess I talk about this a lot in my other video, but I'll just talk about it again here. Age of Sigmar is kind of going in a path that's sort of going away or divorcing itself. I use that word in the other video too. Where it's sort of divorcing itself from what I wanted from Age of Sigmar in regards to aesthetic. I get why they're doing it, and it's not that I don't like what they're doing. It's just I talked about how I always liked fantasy when fantasy was fantasy, and I just didn't get into the fact that everybody was moving around on bricks or blocks, and that didn't grab my attention. And Mordheim was sort of my excuse to buy a lot of fantasy figures because it was set in the world of Warhammer Fantasy, but it was not blocky, which is what I call it. And I know that was a tactical thing, and there were reasons why you played with the blocks as regiments and things like that, but it just wasn't my thing. And I was a 40k player at the time because I liked, especially because I liked the movement. You're dispersed a little bit. You're in coherencies as opposed to strict regiments, and so that was the turnoff. And then when Age of Sigmar came out, it was my excuse to just dive into fantasy because it was round bases, which I always liked over the squares. And I even rebased my Hero Quest figures on rounds because I didn't like them being on squares. I did a lot of things with rounds because I just wasn't down with the squares. So, music reference. So I totally bought into Age of Sigmar and I loved it. And coincidentally, a lot of people were dumping their stuff. So I purchased a lot of armies right out of the gate, and I was already completely, if not more, caught up because I have sort of an addiction like Tom has with needing to buy awesome stuff but not really putting any of it together. But yeah, so that was my buy-in. I totally just was all about it. And then as time went on, the Sylvaneth came out, and that was cool because it didn't really have much of a difference in the feel. It still felt very much fantasy, and same with the Iron Jaws. That was just more orc stuff, just cooler, bigger, gnarlier looking orcs. And then the Caradron Overlords, I think that's how you say it, came out, and it was just kind of like it started for me to feel a little weird. In that regard, I wasn't at all interested in that army. I liked my mountain dwarves, and the fire slayers also. That was it was cool. I didn't get the gold thing in the skin. That was kind of odd, but I bought a couple, and I'm gonna file off the little ruined Urgold stuff because it's just not. I just want barbarian dwarves with crazy fire mohawks. I don't need gold embedded in them too. So I mean, there's that stuff, but the Deepkin and even the Witch Elves, the Daughters of Cain stuff, started to get a little more. I don't know. It just started looking a little more not the fantasy I wanted to play in, and especially the terrain. That's a great example too. You have the Dragon Fate Dais, and you have the whatever that weird other thing is, and the realm gates. and you just have all these weird little things that are kind of, you know, I liked my castles, I liked my huts, I liked my, you know, Tudor houses and things like that. And you know, I want sort of out there. I play 40K because that's out there, and I want my fantasy. I kind of want to relate to Tolkien stories and things like that. And so the Deepkin are cool. Don't get me wrong, and I do like the look of them for what they are, and I think they definitely fit into the world of the the new Dark Elf witches and the Fire Slayers and the Caradron Overlords. I think that those all four of those, I guess it's only been four, right? Armies are very much live in that world, and that's cool. But it's just a world that I'm not really super happy and interested. Not happy. That's the wrong word. Interested in. You know, I am happy for it because it's going to progress the game and get more people interested in it, and then I can bring my old stuff and still play, which is where we're going. So segue from the Deepkin. That's my thoughts on Deepkin. Cool models. Not interested in buying them. Segue into Warhammer Legends, and I too also, before I talk about Legends, we'll talk about 40K. I like, excuse me, burps. I like 40K a lot. I have a massive Metal Sisters of Battle army, so I don't really care about the plastic stuff. And you know, I'm totally content with that. I'm sure that they're doing, especially with the new Primaris Space Marines, and then the Japanese special release of the full scale, they're, you know, the true scale Space Marines. They did Series 1, and it's all the Mark, I think it's Mark 8 armor, and but they're true scale, so they're on par with the Primaris sized Marines. You know, those are cool, but it's gonna, I think the next generation is gonna start, they're gonna actually be making the models to what they should be, which is great. But there's a lot of models I have from the day, back in the day, that I love, and you know, I want to kind of plant myself in that size as opposed to doing the transition, which, and I don't play tournaments, so that's not going to be a problem for me. You know, bringing older stuff. I still have the old Contemptor Dreadnoughts, the tiny metal ones, and land speeders. Well, some of it I have, not a lot, but yeah. Anyway, so wow, that was just, I went away. So so 40K's got my out there stuff. I want my fantasy to be my castles and my, you know, like I said, Tudor villages and stuff like that. And we're going into a place of like a little bit more bizarre and like acid trippy kind of stuff, which is cool, you know, but that was me in my 20s. And now me in my 40s, or getting to the 40s very soon. You know, I'm down for the old spears and bows and stuff, and you know, flying metal clad ships, and it's, I want my sci-fi with my sci-fi, and I want my fantasy with my fantasy. So and that's not to say that, you know, something might come out that just goes yes to me. But the Deepkin definitely are not it. The Witch Elves were definitely not it. The, you know, Fire Slayers I bought because I can convert them to how I want them. And I think I can even do that with some of the Witch Elves. I would probably do. I want to do Snake Beastmen actually. I want to take the tails of those Medusa chicks and put some Beastmen on top, because that would be badass. Or at least like old school Marauder bodies, and affix them so they're basically like Snake Men, but then have like crazy, maybe do like Kroot heads on them from 40K, and then take the spine portion off so they have sort of like a turtle mouth with the Marauder body. That would be badass. So just more Beastmen. I'm all about the Beastmen, you know. Cats and dogs living together. End of the world kind of Ghostbuster stuff. But so that's it on the Deepkin. Now we'll talk about the other releases. So I'm a 40K fan, and sorry for the long video. And I'm excited. You know, Plastic Sisters, that's great. I'm happy people are going to have them because a lot of people don't, and you know, they're a fun army to have. And the new Titan stuff. Um, I like my 40k games small. I don't like the big old Armageddon-y massive stuff. So I never got into the Titans too much. I think I bought a few, but I didn't. I've never played with them. Um, I have stories about that, but that's what, like when Forge World first came out, my buddy had this Imperial Guard jet, and I was a Gene Stealer cult, and he just, I mean, literally the jet would come on the table and fly off in one turn and just destroy a bunch of stuff. And unless you had special weapons that reached really far, and it was just kind of broken to me. And I was like, really? I mean, that's stupid because you're fielding something I just can't compete with. But you know, I'm sure they've changed that a lot now with the bigger vehicles, but like the Baneblade and stuff, I've never fought one of those, the big battle tank that's like 3 or 4 Land Raiders sized Imperial Guard tank. But that's a tangent too. Sorry, I do that. Um so the other 40k stuff look cool. I mean, I'm like not gonna buy any of it. I don't really care. Shadespire, they're gonna be doing new war bands, which is awesome. And I think that Shadespire is my middle ground because Shadespire is it allows me to be in the current world that Age of Sigmar is with very little buy-in. So you could have your Fire Slayers and you can keep them with the little, in my opinion, stupid gold inside of them. You can have, you know, I'm sure they're going to do the Witch Elf people, and I'm sure they're going to do a Deepkin army. And you can buy, and even a Stormcast, a perfect example. I don't like Stormcast at all. They're just not my thing. I like Empire and Pantaloons. That's what I'm all about. But you know, the Stormcast, you just have 4 or 3 or 4. I think it's 3 guys. The dude with the 2 hand, yeah, 3 guys. You have 3 dudes, and it's like you can buy them, you can paint them. Coming from a guy that doesn't paint, right? You can buy them, you can play them. How's that? And you know, enjoy yourself. And it's not you're not investing a ton of money into this stuff, but at least it keeps you sort of up to date with what's going on in that actual world, as opposed to me, who's going to be disillusioned and living in the past with my Warhammer Legends stuff. But you know, it's Shadespire new war bands. I'm all about that because it allows me, like I said, to buy into the current feel and the progress of the game, but not invest a ton of money into something or feel like I have to conform, I guess, to what's going on to the majority of people playing Age of Sigmar. So I do like that, and I hope they continue to do a bunch of Shadespire stuff. And it's a fun game. It really is. And if anything, you just buy the armies because you need the extra universal cards, so you can keep changing your deck out a little bit, make it more interesting, and keep it spicy. Because you know, things can get old, and with this mechanic of changing out certain cards, it kind of keeps your armies a little more interesting. So that's fun. Now let's talk about Warhammer Legends. The best announcement ever. No, actually, it's the second best announcement. The first best announcement was Age of Sigmar. Hate messages right now. The second best message was Warhammer Legends, and that just brought a smile to my face because I was super stoked that they're, you know, we're currently in the compendium in the back of the General's Handbook, a lot of the stuff that I play. And you know, I did buy the Sylvaneth stuff and I did buy the Ironjaws stuff, but and the Fire Slayer stuff, but you know, I in general live in this world of Warhammer Legends. And the compendium stuff just made me so happy. I was just super stoked to see that, for one, they're going to be bringing back some old models. So for people who don't have those models, they're going to have that chance to pick them up. I think it's going to be really interesting when they do the Tomb Kings, because that is going to be ridiculous. Yeah, I think people are going to go hog wild. And I hope that I still have a feeling that the Titans, the Necrosphinx is going to come back in plastic in the current game. Because in, I believe it was the Flesh Eater Courts army book, they show a bunch of Anubis-y kind of statues, and it's very Tomb King-y. And even Shadespire is very kind of Tomb King-y. I think that they're going to come back and they're going to do the Ushabti, and they're going to have the Necrosphinx guy, and they're going to do the new Tomb Guard. Basically, all the newer style skeleton stuff that have that, just the newer style. Because, you know, the older style, they had a look, the 90s-esque skeletons. I think any Tomb King stuff that was that is gone. You know, Chariot's gone. Skeleton riders on horses, unless they redo them, gone. But I think we're going to see the Tomb Guard, and I think we're going to see the Titan again, the Hyro Titan, and, you know, which is awesome. And the Ushabti are coming back. I want to say I'm sure, because I am sure. So, yeah, but Warhammer Legends is really what's got me, and I made a video about it too, and I rambled on that video also. This is like, we're going on 16 minutes now, so you've either turned me off or you're just doing something else. But yeah, Warhammer Legends is very, very, very exciting, and I'm just happy that, you know, they're going to do that for those people that, you know, want to still play with their old stuff. And there are a lot of people, I think, out there, and a lot of people too, you know, that didn't sell their armies to me. You know, that might get them into playing the game, because now that they can play the new rules for essentially 9th edition, because it's not going to be, well, I guess it's going to be skirmishy, but it's a semi-9th. It's like a 8.5, right? Warhammer Legends is 8.5. Plus 9th is taken by that group of people that are doing the 9th age. So we'll call it 8.5. Warhammer 8.5 skirmish. Mass skirmish. Yeah. Mass-mish. Skirmash. Skirmass. Sorry, I like playing with words. But yeah, I think Warhammer Legends is going to be rad. And that's the most exciting news for this boring guy in at the Adepticon Reveals. So I'm glad everyone else is getting what they want, and their sisters of battle and their fish people, sort of. I still want fishmen, like beastmen, fishmen. But I'm down for all beastmen, because beastmen are the best ever. And that's all I got to say about that. You know, it'd be badass. A dragon, a dragon ogre merman, or merwoman, a shagoth with a fishtail. That would be sick. Yeah, so that's where my head goes, and that's what I want. So fishmen, straight up beast fishmen. That would be an Age of Sigmar army I would be all about. So thanks for listening.